So the blend door actuator resides under this. There's a couple of screws holding it up on here, easy to get to, but there's also a hidden one back here that's really hard to get to. And then the actuator lives right here. What the manual has you do is remove the center console. In order to remove the center console, the seats have to come out. To remove the seats, there is a 15 millimeter in the front, one here, one on that side. Those come out, and it looks like a funky little shape, but just a standard 6-point. Fits right on there, nice and snug. So 15 in the front, and then in the rear, move the seats forward. That'll reveal the one in the back. And it's a different size, but that same shape. Bolt there, but it is 7/16 or 11 millimeter, whichever one you got, but that fits over nice and snug. One on this side, one on that side. And then once those are removed, you tip the seat back and then unplug any of the connectors from underneath. And the two bolts in the back of the seat, one is really easy exposed to see, the other one is underneath this cap. Now with the seats out, you can see how the center console is over the top of this little guide for the seat. So it has to be lifted up and over. That's why the seats have to come out. And then this one just is notched in. So that's why the seats come out. So those bolts are two 10 millimeters. I got this disconnected and unconnected there. So this whole thing should lift up and slide back. Let me do it with two hands, but I can already see it, coming back. All right, so got it pulled back. This can just unclip if you need it to, but it's pulled back. So that was pretty easy. So now let's look under here. Let's see. What? Snail. That gives us actually all the room we need. We can get this weird one out, or that hidden one, and then finish removing this. Not sure if I mentioned it before, but they're 7 millimeter little screws that hold it in. Probably know that by now, but. All right, so I disconnected the connector. There's a bolt there. There's one on the back. I believe there's just two 5.5 millimeter. So we can go ahead and buzz those off. Well, so it is just two bolt. It may be a little hard pulling, but just go ahead and pull and it'll separate from the little actuator arm. So with the new one, just make sure all the size and everything looks the same. And we are ready to slap it in. Now you don't have to worry about the notches being in different positions, because under here, you can see the little arm right here. Right here, you can move it around. So you can put it where you need it to line up with the new one. So don't worry about that. When it's all put in, we'll go through the relearn process anyway. So, all right, we got that in, unplugged for the moment. To do a recalibration, there's two methods. You could do it with the scan tool, if you have a bidirectional scan tool capable of recalibration. Or the second option is to ignition off, plug it in, go under the hood and remove the HVAC slash ECAS, EVAS, I'll have to look again. But that fuse, disconnect it for about 10 seconds or more, but minimum of 10 seconds, reconnect it, and then turn the vehicle on and it'll self-calibrate. So let's do that method, and then we'll look at the data with the scan tool. Vehicle off, ignition off, we'll plug this in. If I can see it. There we go. So under the hood, you see right here, HVAC slash ECAS 10 amp. That's the one we want to remove. The ignition is still in the off position, but the actuator is plugged in. How that translates on here is the bottom right. You see there's a 15 amp, so 1, 2, the third one 15, 15, blank, 10. It's this 10 amp right here. We'll remove that for 20 seconds, then put it back in. All right, it's been about, I don't know, long enough. So plug it back in. All right, now we'll turn the car on and it'll self-calibrate. Now while it's running its self-calibration, we don't want to touch any of the controls on the HVAC. And you can hear it probably running its little sweep from one end to the next, back and forth, so I can find its ranges. It says it takes about 40 minutes to do that, so we'll wait 40 minutes and then hook up the scan tool, check out our scan data, compare it to the previous. All right, so we let it run through its calibration. Now we pulled up some scan data. It was the left blend door, or they call it the air mix door, left. So now we have commanded and actual. So let me change the temperature. I'll change the commanded, and the actual should follow. So we're seeing that following very closely. Now we'll go ahead and change it back to cold. So that's good operation. That's what it's supposed to do. We saw in the previous diagnosis, it was not doing this at all. In order to slide the center console back in, taking this off is the key. So you lower the steering wheel, put the gear all the way down, and then it just pops off, and they're just clipped in. See the clips? And just pull that aside, and that gives us room because it hits on here otherwise. Two 10mm bolts secured in. In retrospect, you did not have to unplug your cigarette lighters or the power supply. Now that can just stay in there. This did not have to come out of its little spot. Okay, once that's on, now we can go ahead and put this back. Should just clip in, and then we'll put our piece here back on. I put this on off camera. I forgot to mention that's actually what you put on first before the center console goes back in. Now, if for some reason you forget and you're like, oh man, I don't feel like pulling this back off, well, that's okay. It'll still slide in, and you have two bolts out here. It just won't be bolted down there. And that's okay. It doesn't have to be. It's held in with the carpet and stuff like that, so it's not gonna rattle or be a big deal. All right, now that we got our center console back in, we can go ahead and put our seats in. Now we went ahead and just vacuumed it out. Now would be a good time to get it all nice and detailed under the seat. But seats go on next. So we're gonna set it in, connect it, and then get it situated perfectly. So on the back of the seat, this hole fits over this dowel. That can be a little struggle. I was kind of struggling getting it over this, and then in the front, it's over this second hole, not the first one. So second one in the front. And that's the side closest to the center console. The side on closest to the door, that just kind of falls in line when that side is in place. I'm going to go ahead and put a little Loctite on these back bolts. All right, seat is in, bolted down. Just make sure the range works all the way forward, all the way back, doesn't bind on anything. All right, now I'll go ahead and just do the other side exactly the same. And that should complete this repair.